Shout out to the real Freeway Rick coming through show the occasional live. I mean, we number one independent radio show in the world. Why wouldn't he come?
Why wouldn't we have top-notch guests?
I don't understand. We shouldn't be surprising niggas no more.
No.
It's no longer a process. We are officially a conglomerate.
True.
There's no more trusted process with the cave. Yeah, nigga, it is what it is.
Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown. And not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority.
What up, y'all? It's your man, Freeway Rick Ross, and you tuned to the cave from 4 to 6. Don't turn that dial. This is the Ghetto Bible. Go get it.
Listen, you are tuned into the #1 independent radio show in the world. We are The Cave. We got a special guest in the building today. A lot of you niggas woke up to motivation this man laid over 30 years ago. We talking about the real, the OG, your OG's OG. The real Freeway Rick Ross in the motherfucking building.
What's up?
That felt good right there.
Yeah.
You know what? The first question I gotta ask you is because you put in a lot of work, you've done a lot of things. How fucked up is it that we gotta call you the real Rick Ross? How does that feel?
Yeah. Man, you know.
Keep it real, OG. That's some bullshit. You was the one really out here moving and shaking, chucking and jiving. Yeah. While that nigga was COing and bluffing. That's fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Totally different lifestyle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lifestyle. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, some people they didn't live the life, so they got to use somebody else's to create the image or the persona that they want everybody to see them in. And
but usually they at least have the audacity to pick somebody that done passed away. Somebody we talking about somebody that's active out here on a positive path, helping the communities and families. And how can you just take that?
He didn't think I was ever gonna get out.
Okay,
you know,
so he was a hater from the beginning.
The government said I was never getting out of prison, so
got to return.
Yeah.
Of course.
I overturned it.
That's what we're gonna get into.
See, it didn't get
so
overturned.
Let's do this.
I overturned it.
Let's do this. Let's talk. Let's kind of start from the beginning, because you know I'm sure just like millions of people that are listening now, we know the story. But let's describe LA in the 70s.
Oh man, it was during the time the gangs was just getting started. You know, the black gangs was just assembling. I mean, back then in the 70s, LA was cool, man. I mean, LA was cool in the 80s too. I love LA. You know what I'm saying?
You should. You the fucking king. You should love it. Right?
So you know, I ain't really got much bad to say. I mean, you know, it's like any other city though. You know, we got our good and our bad.
No, the reason why I asked that is because I'm trying to do my little fake. I'm trying to win an Oscar on this interview that one. But I'm trying to do the build up until you know the year 1979. Because I know that means a lot to you that year.
Yeah.
When you went from Rick Ross to Ricky Ross. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to build the scene. I just want them to know what led you to that. I know the story like the back of my hand. I can tell you 100 million times. I know the people's names.
We grew up poor, man.
Exactly.
My mom, you know, we was on welfare. My mom worked, you know, made jobs and cleaning offices and you know all kind of little jobs and you know I was tired of seeing my mom struggle. You know, so
we all grow up wanting better.
Yes.
Yeah, so I made in my mind, you know, that I was gonna do whatever it took, you know, to help my family to get on their feet, and you know that's really how it started, man. It was, I mean, you know, it was more opportunities in the 70s for blacks than it is right now, you know.
Yeah, and that's sad to even think about it like that. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's rough right now. You know, LA is gentrifying, and you know everybody black is having to move out of the city and into the suburbs. But the 70s was pretty much the same, just a little better, I would say, just a little better.
Now you posted something earlier in the week or later last week, Contra video game.
Yeah.
That was we all played that. It was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now you said it had a direct correlation to the Nicaraguan drug trade and all that, right?
Yeah, it did.
Elaborate a little bit on that.
First of all, can we applaud this man? Because I think the first time any of us heard the word Nicaraguan is because of Rick Ross. God damn, can we salute the OG for that? I still don't even know what the fuck that is. Is that a Nicaraguan? What is a Nicaraguan?
Well, you know, the Nicaraguans well, Nicaragua is a country.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for people who don't know, it's a country. And this country was considered a strategic ground for America, and it could be a strategic ground for Russia. Yeah, and excuse me if I don't pronounce it right. Y'all know I ain't got no high school diploma nor a GED, so.
You ran $1 million. You ran $1 billion empire, though. So they don't do that now.
But I did speak at Brown University.
Yeah, talk about it one time. You ran $1 billion empire.
I spoke at Stanford and UCLA, and you know they try to understand what the brother's trying to say. But anyway, Nicaragua was a strategic territory in this Cold War for Russia and the U.S. And America wanted to control it, and Russia wanted to control it. So what wound up happening is America, their allies lost the war over there, and when their guys came over here, they was allowed to sell cocaine to raise money to fight the war inside of Nicaragua.
Wow, that's deep. And I mean, you know, I guess it's a love-hate relationship with your ultimate demise came from a Nicaraguan snitch. Yeah, so I guess it's, you know, I guess it's a love-hate with him. It made you rich.
He was my man, you know.
Come on, Blando, don't do him like that.
But you know, and that falls on me for not understanding the game that I got into. You know, when I got into the coke game, I didn't really understand. I didn't even know what coke was when I first got started. You know, my partner, one of my big homies, told me.
I heard you started with a $50 gram.
$50 gram.
Is that true story?
That's what he started me out with.
Okay.
So I guess when you say the one who had the most effect would have to be Danilo.
Okay.
You know, he gave me the prices in the cocaine game that I'd never seen before. But then he also gave me a life sentence without the possibility of parole. So he's definitely had.
He was you was kind of at your highest and then at your lowest.
He took me to my lowest. Yeah.
With him, okay, all right.
Yeah, so it would have to be him to say. So it had the biggest effect on my life.
Okay.
If I had to ask you, I guess pick one question. It's interesting. I watched a bunch of interviews, but one of the most interesting things that I've actually been able to research after hearing you say that you said the term "crack baby" is false.
Yeah, I don't believe in it.
Now I looked because you know I looked up the Harvard research you said, and that's a real thing. Like it's really like that's deep. They put alcoholic babies on commercials and fed them as crack babies.
Yeah. To us, you know,
exactly.
To us that they were crack babies because. You know, I've been in the hood and I never, and I saw women smoking crack and my girl smoked crack.
Of course. She was
pregnant with my oldest son.
Yeah.
Okay. My oldest son is what they would consider a crack baby, and he's probably my smoothest kid. You know, I mean, he different than us. You know, he ain't like the rest. Like, he don't want a whole lot of money. He's a janitor at school. You know, he's married to his wife.
Yes.
His wife run his life.
Yeah.
They all do it at the end of the day. They all do. Shout out to the queen. They all do it at the end of the day.
But as far as having any mental effects or anything like that,
I was shocked by that though.
I never saw it in him.
And that's what made you say that's bullshit, basically.
Yeah. And I believed that it was such thing as a crack baby until after I did my research and saw that they had been playing games. But and you know the whole era was full of tricks and trickeration. You know, from George Bush. You know, remember he did the fake sting where they had a guy who was gonna sell him some. I think it was a half a key of rock cocaine, and he was somewhere else, and they said, "Oh no, meet us over here by the White House." Yeah. So that they could arrest him right by the White House, and then tell him, "Oh, they're selling drugs right across the street from the White House." Yeah. So you know, when you look at the whole thing, it was just so much game and trickeration going on with that whole thing, and I believe it was so that they could lock up so many black men. Which we still have today. You know, we got over 600,000 black men in prison right now for non-violent drug offenses.
So what was the worst, Reaganomics or Clinton era?
I mean, they both did damage. You know, Reaganomics, you know, came back with the.
Personally, I think they're Clinton, but.
Well, you know, Clinton hurt us bad too. You know, Reaganomics with the 100 to 1. You know, that was major. But then, you know, Clinton came right back and got tougher, tried to get tougher than he did. Clinton took the 2255 away from inmates.
And what would, so people
the 2255, well, basically the way the 2255 worked is if, say you went to trial, you got convicted, you lost your appeal, and then you were sitting in jail, but some new evidence came up to prove your innocence. Well, then you could file a 2255 and get back into court. Well, when Clinton came in, he said that you had 1 year to find this new evidence. So that if you couldn't prove your innocence in 1 year, then you out. Now, later on, you know, 20 years later, you've been in prison 20 years and somebody, you know, you come up and you can prove that this guy set you up and he was lying and whatever, he had a change of heart, well, you can't get back in court.
Damn, that's deep. Now, you know, you're kind of like this mythological figure, I feel like, especially for people from our generation. Because the first thing my mom said to me, I told my mom, I said, hey mom, you know, Saturday I'm gonna be on Freeway Rick. She said, you know what? I remember that name. That motherfucker was walking in the White House getting keys from Ronald Reagan. I said, Mom, what you talking about? She said, no, I'm serious. I said, Mom, this motherfucker was walking in the White House getting keys. She said, I don't care what you talking about. You wasn't around in the 70s. I was. That nigga picked up a bag of coke from Ronald Reagan himself. Can you please tell people?
It was not.
Okay, thank you. Because my mom, Tanya Reese, I'm sitting next to the man. He said it ain't true.
No, not like that. No. Well, you know, basically what happened is Ronald Reagan allowed the Nicaraguans, Danilo and his crew, to use military planes to fly drugs into the country. And those were the drugs that I got, but no, I didn't get it from Ronald Reagan.
I didn't think about it.
I didn't get it from George.
Because you know how old heads tell you a story and they believe it so bad. My mom looked at me as if I disrespected her by saying she was.
But you know how it is. You know what I'm saying? We believe certain stuff about certain people that you like.
Well, I mean, and really, it's some truth to it. Even though it's not
exactly. His hands was on it.
It ain't exactly. In the White House, you know, basically this whole country is part of the White House.
Exactly.
You know?
So somebody say he had his own bedroom in there too.
My mama was sure. She said no.
They open up the country. You know what I'm saying? Once they open up the floodgates, it's just like it's coming out.
That was to fund the back war over there, or
yeah, it was to fund the war in Nicaragua.
Now, this is something you found about was interesting to me. Once you were actually inside, you had no knowings about that aspect of as far as the government involvement in the drugs you were moving.
Nah, I never would have thought that that our government would have been what's the correct word? Explicit?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Gotcha.
In the drug business, where they would have been allowing somebody from a foreign country to bring drugs into our community. It was mind-boggling, you know, when I found out that it took place, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't know until I started trial.
Exactly.
You know, this was all new to me. You know, I was still pretty young, you know, when all this was going on. Yeah. So.
You were what, 28 once you got sentenced?
No, I was a little older than that when I got sentenced.
Okay.
When I got first arrested, was 28.
Okay.
But still, you know, you're still young and dumb. You ain't paying attention to politics. You don't know import, export. You haven't been really paying attention to none of that. You're just a dude from the streets, you know, who found himself in a position to what you felt to do for your family and your friends, and next thing you know, you tied up with the CIA and the White House.
But essentially, you was running a Fortune 500 company on the street.
Yeah.
Do you think that could have translated to actually?
Man, I know.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Talk your shit, OG.
I think kingpins of that status.
I just come from what was the name of the place we just come from? The Bridge. Yeah. We just come from the Bridge, man. I just told them youngsters up there, man, that they can take the same information that they've been using on these streets. And they can turn that into corporate America, because everything is related. All businesses is related. They all have similarities. But it's up to us to figure out how we can take that information and make that information work for us.
Now, how do we go from Freeway Rick Ross, who didn't learn how to read until the age of 28, to best-selling author?
Well, when I got to prison, I got my life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Now, can I ask you a question? I've always wanted to ask somebody this, because the only time I've ever seen somebody react to light, unfortunately, the movie Dead Presidents, and Lorenz Tate threw a chair, so he was upset. When you heard the word life, do you remember the first thoughts that went through your head?
Oh, absolutely. My mom was in the courtroom with me, so when the judge said life without the possibility, my mom broke down and cried. she didn't think that she would ever see her son free again.
On the streets again.
So what went through my mind immediately was her.
Okay.
What did you do to your mom?
Yes.
You know, how did you affect your mom? When I walked in the holding tank, because they walk you out of the courtroom, through the back of the courtroom to a holding tank, and all I could think about was that, you know, I just hurt my mom probably worse than she'd ever been hurt before. It's almost like, you know, your mom seeing you get shot, you know.
Yeah.
And
she basically saw you die.
Basically, she
for
saw
all intents
you,
and purposes.
For all intents and purposes, she just saw you get shot and killed, and that's how she was crying. You know, she was carrying on like that, and it was like, wow, you just smash your moms, man. You know, something that I never wanted to do because my mom has always been my ace. You know, my one. You know, like
your enterprise started from your mom's porch.
Yeah, so to hurt her was like one of the worst feelings that a person could probably feel in the world.
Okay.
So that's how I felt when they told me that I was gonna get life.
Now, as far as going from, like you said, not actually learning how to read to the age of 28, mind you, you're running $1 billion empire with this. Now, how do we go from that to best-selling author?
Well, basically what happened is when I got to prison, they gave me the life sentence. I didn't accept it.
Okay.
You know, I didn't feel that I should do the rest of my life in prison. And, you know, just like how I started selling drugs. Some of the older guys in there who had been in prison for a while, they started telling me that the way out was through the law library.
And that became your best friend.
The only way you can use the law library is learn how to read, or ask somebody to read it for you. And ain't nobody gonna read your case. They gotta read their own.
Yes.
So what I had to do is I had to teach myself how to read it and write. And my cellie, he started off teaching me my ABCs. He taught me how to sound my words out. In a couple weeks, I was reading the newspaper, and next thing you know, I was reading my indictment, and pretty soon I was reading law books. Okay. And I became obsessed with reading the law. I mean, I took the same principles that I used to sell drugs. You know, I sold drugs all day. Well, I started reading it all day, and pretty soon, one day I was reading, and the words that I had been looking for to set me free came out. You know.
What was those words?
Continuous criminal spree, and not a career criminal. They wanted me to be a career criminal, but in actuality, my crime was a continuous criminal spree. Exactly. Meaning that a three-striker is somebody who goes to prison, get out, then commit another crime, go to prison, get out. Those are 2 strikes, and then he commits his 3rd crime. He's a career criminal. He can get a life sentence. Well, in my case, I had got arrested one time, and I was taken from state to state and then convicted. So I beat my case on those grounds that I wasn't a 3-striker, and that's what set me free. And it went from there.
Y'all better read. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention, man.
But it's deep because you said that. It's because I remember I listened to an interview and you said, well, I never gave a fuck why Jack and Jill went up the hill. They wasn't picking me up no money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, that's the illest shit I ever heard. Because you think about it, like, if that doesn't purpose what you're doing in your everyday life, then why is your interest in it?
Why?
But the flip side was, when the most craziest thing happened in your life, you had to read.
I had to.
That's deep.
Had to.
That's deep.
And I use that, you know, when I go and talk to our young people, because our young people don't want to read that BS either.
No,
you know?
right.
They want to read real stuff that affects their lives, and I believe that once we are able to translate that to them, stuff that's affecting their lives, then they want to read it. Like when I go to schools and I have my book, they want to read my book.
Of course.
You know, it's funny that the schools don't want to read the book.
I was about to say, would you recommend them reading that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I wrote this book for them. You know, I wrote this book because I felt that people needed to know what I had discovered about having money and about doing business and just about living life, you know. And I felt that my experience could shed light on a lot of other people. So I wrote the book for people who are looking to be successful, maybe money, Arthur, or whatever it is that you want to do.
Yes.
This book could help you accomplish those goals.
Now, I'm sorry.
No, I just want this is way off topic. How many white boys you beat in tennis, man?
In the joint? All of them.
I heard you was off the ass before Arthur ass. That's what they told me.
No, Arthur was for me. He was
okay.
Arthur was my hero, man. I love Arthur Ashe.
Think you could have gave him a problem on the court?
No, man, Arthur was he was my hero until I ran into Superfly.
I knew you was gonna go there and see. Did my homework. I was about to ask you. Arthur Ashe is Superfly. I was coming right for it.
Superfly, man. I saw that cat.
Because I heard you say the first time you saw some powder, that shit was yellow. You said Superfly shit wasn't yellow. I don't know if this is right. So I was already coming there with that.
You seen that Cadillac with the big grill?
Ain't no doubt.
Against the white walls. I wanted that.
You wanted that.
I said I wanted
that. Now, it's funny that
with
that's
the tailor-made suits.
That would be, yeah. It's funny that would be your idol, but you were basically an undercover fucking mogul. So it's funny that that's your idol because you actually drove a Ford wagon with a wood on the side.
Well, you know, once I got into the game, I started to learn. One thing I do with my life is and I'm always trying to figure out the best way to go.
Okay.
Like when I ride down the street, I'm always looking like, oh, that right there, that building shouldn't be there. Another building should be there. It'll do better if that was there. So I'm always looking to better whatever it is that I'm involved with. I'm always looking to how can it be better? How can it be better? So when I started selling drugs, I wanted the Cadillac.
Yeah.
But then when I got in, I said, man, if I get the Cadillac with the big grill and against the white wall, everybody gonna see me.
Exactly.
Now I ain't gonna be able to do what I do.
Yeah.
So, and I did want the Benz too.
Yeah.
But not at that time. I said, you know what? I better wait on the Benz.
Well, it had to be one time that you say, man, I'm gonna pull out that Italian thing tonight.
Nah, man.
Never had the issue. Just
all my boys had that. You know, if I want to drive,
and that's why I asked you that. Not because
I just called my boy, hey man, let me use your Porsche tonight.
Yeah.
I drive his Porsche. If I wanted the Ferrari, you know, I would just call somebody and say, man, let me use the Ferrari, let me use the Benz.
It just wasn't your style, though.
No,
you walked in somewhere the celebrities know who you are?
No, really, I got so good at hiding that.
I've heard a story where you said that you've been with workers and they thought, did he work for you?
No, I would go like the first time I ever go to the skating ring, right? I go with one of my dudes.
Freeway Rick is a skater? Is that what we're hearing?
I have skated before.
Cause this is a professional sitting across. I had to make sure it wasn't.
I get it in.
Okay, I had to make sure now. Yeah.
Y'all ain't doing nothing later. We can shoot up Millennium.
Okay, I had to make sure now.
So I go to the skating ring with my boy and we at the skating ring and all the girls is around him, you know, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah. But you sitting like,
he worked for me.
Yes, sir.
But they didn't really know. You know, it took a while before they figured out, you know, who really was the man and who was the worker. Because he had all the bling bling, you know, and I didn't. I was plain Jane, you know.
Yes.
But that's the way I liked it, you know, because it gave me freedom that a lot of people didn't get to experience. You know, I could walk the street. I could go to any restaurant and you know, it was just cool. I mean, even now, you know, with the way I'm living now, it's like totally different. You know, I take pictures. You know, back in the days, you couldn't take no. I didn't want nobody taking. You took a picture. Who was that? The police.
Ain't no doubt.
Check him out, man. So it's a total different lifestyle now that I live, and I understood that I was living that way because that was the game I was in.
Exactly.
You know, and so often people live lifestyles because this is what other people did. But I understood that I couldn't live my lifestyle the way other people had did it, because if I would have been busted and I'd have been through. You know, if I would have had a Ferrari or something, you know, that I'm driving and the police would have been recognized. Oh, that's Rick in the Ferrari. Yeah. You know, we can follow him home.
Because most drug dealers have a life expectancy of a running back, 2.5 to 3 years.
Exactly.
You had about an 8 to 9 year run on the street.
Exactly.
That's basically infinity in the street years. Like seriously, like nobody has an 8 to 9 year run. That's unheard of.
And making the kind of money I was doing.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, you're talking about what when I got arrested. And I got all my indictments and everything.
Now, mind you, when you got arrested, you were out the game a year to year and a half. Am I correct?
Yeah, they didn't catch me with no drugs.
Damn, that's some deep shit.
They didn't catch me with no drugs. no money.
Yeah.
None of that. But what they said, the reason that they got on me like they did was because everybody was talking about me.
And
it was like this legend that they kept hearing about.
And they had to come forward.
And they had to figure out who it was. So it took them years just to figure out who I was.
Yes.
And then after they figured out who I was, then they had to find out where I was, because I moved, I hid. So definitely being a stealth definitely gave me longevity and allowed me to make the kind of money that I made.
Quick question. The show Snowfall, you familiar with that show?
I am.
How closely does it relate to your story?
I haven't watched Snowfall. I spoke to John Singer about 3 months ago, and me and him were supposed to sit down and talk about that. And he was saying that he wanted to bring me on as a consultant. But that didn't happen, I don't know what happened. I probably didn't follow up enough with him. I did call him a couple times, and he had changed his number. Then he sent me his new number, but I didn't follow up. But from what I understand, from my social media and from people that I meet, it's my story. John assured me the night that we bumped into each other at Red Grant's party that it wasn't about my life, but it's hard to believe from what I've heard that it's not my story because there's nobody else in LA that
Franklin just seems to relate.
Exactly.
And his name is Franklin, instead of Freeway, There's so many similarities. But I try to get it, brothers, man. It's,
you gotta give them a chance.
When you dealing with, we've been through so much, man. When you're looking at black, all the stuff that we've been through in this country with other people, beating us down, and I just say, well, maybe the brother needed the money, and you just gotta give a brother a break, even with the rapper, who took my name.
And you know what? Cause I gotta ask one last question, right? Cause we in Philadelphia. Now there's actually 2 rappers that have taken your name. One that you have a great rapport with, and one that you don't. Actually, it's 4, but I want to talk about 2 in particular because it's different, the relationship that you have with both. The one from the city that you're currently in now, Philadelphia, you guys have a great rapport. I see you guys bringing the communities together. Now the other guy, you don't. What do you think is the difference between the 2 relationships? When I was in prison,
Freeway wrote me a letter.
Okay.
And he told me that he loved me, that he looked up to me.
Okay.
And he modeled himself after the way that I hustled, and I respected that.
Okay.
I talked to Rick Ross on the phone. He said the same thing, but I had to look him up. We talked about us working together, doing some stuff. The same thing that me and Freeway talked about.
Exactly.
He changed his phone number. And I felt disrespected. I was like, why would a dude do that? And I only sued him because a lawyer from here, from Philadelphia, he started the lawsuit. He talked me into the lawsuit, and I was like, he was like, man, Universal owe you a lot of money, man. Yeah. I know you don't want to sue the rapper, but Universal owe you the money. So I was like, Universal? Universal owe me some money.
Yeah, let's go get that check.
Let's go get that check. So that's really why the lawsuit had got filed. I ain't never been mad at the dude.
So it's really not no friction. It's just a
not with me. It ain't.
Okay.
I mean, if he came right now and he said, "Man, let's go sit down, let's talk," I'm with that.
Yeah.
And not that I need his help. I don't need your help. I don't need nobody help. You know what I'm saying?
Right
I'm going to be the richest Negro in America.
Again. The double back. OG said again, because I already was that. Yeah. So can you please get the people your social media where to reach you at? This was so epic. I'm sure everybody wants to.
They better reach out because I'm putting some stuff down. I'm going to be telling everybody how I did it, just like I did in the other game. See, the reason I got so rich in the other game because I wanted for my brother what I wanted for myself. Even though drugs wasn't no good. Yeah. But I didn't know that. I thought it was great.
The money was beautiful.
The money was beautiful.
Yes.
But I didn't understand that there were people that were suffering from getting involved. But this new thing that I got,
talk to him, OJ.
Ain't nobody gonna get hurt.
Legal money.
Legal money. So y'all check me out, Freeway Ricky on Twitter, Instagram, and Freeway Rick Ross on Facebook. I'm gonna be putting some stuff down. Also, y'all can get the book right there.
We all bought it.
You know, they call it the book, the Ghetto Bible.
Freeway Rick Untold Autobiography.
Man, it's been dudes.
Please get that.
I run into dudes that say they read my book when they was in prison, which I could not believe. My book had made it into the prisons because I self-publish. You know, I own this book totally. So when you buy the book, you just supported black business.
Gotta support that. One dedication for is black business. Listen, I just thank you for coming through, OG, and giving us the game you gave us. Listen, I thank you on behalf of the whole cave. We appreciate you. On behalf of Rob Smooth, Uncle Beans, MGD, Super Producer Cheat. Danger Zone's coming up. Can we go out with just a huge round of applause for Freeway Rick?
Appreciate you, dog.
Thank y'all.
Man.
Thank y'all for having me, man.